Hi friends, so this is part 2 regarding the signs of the times. It's another dream that I was given, and it was interesting. I've been hearing more what people have been, like visions and dreams that people have been getting, and it just kind of falls into place about certain things. So this one wasn't recent. It was sometime after my last one I shared, and it's a bit, there's layers to it. So I haven't, my knower in the dream, like I'm like there present, but yet me in the dream is not me at the same time. So in this dream, my husband and I were at like a school, and this is a very new school. Not only is it like a fresh new building, but it's like a new way of school. Like I don't know how else to explain it. It's just a new kind of school, and we were so excited to start the process of getting our kids enrolled. And in this dream, our kids are the ages they are now, so almost 4 and 2. And we were talking to somebody regarding like the administration. And she was like, okay, well, we just have to, verify your identification. And we said, oh yeah, definitely. And the administration, the style and type, like the way they were very authoritative, kind, but I think it's because we weren't questioning, we were excited, and we were wanting to do this. So they were kind, but yet at the same time, the way the people were organized felt very authoritative. And I definitely knew in the dream this is very like government run school, very government run. In the dream, as we said, yes, we need to go, verify our identification, we hop into this like golf cart type of vehicle that's just going to take us to another part of the property. This like is huge, ginormous property. And in my knower, so in the dream, was like, it was as if my knower was trapped in my body and I had no control. Something had taken over because I was not myself. And my knower in the dream said, Drew and I, my husband and I, would never do this. We would never do this. We are very strong. It's okay, baby. We are very strong on homeschooling our children and raising our children, discipling our children. And my knower in the dream was like, what are we doing? We would never do this. What is going on? So it was almost like a panic of, why are we doing this? And I was, like I said, it felt as if I was trapped inside my body, and I wasn't me. The one making these decisions, the one, I guess, having control in my body, was not who I was. So excitedly, we said, yes, of course we need to go, verify. So we're in this golf cart kind of vehicle, and we're heading to another part of the property. And the property is so big, it leads into, it looks like the woods. Starts getting pretty bumpy, and my husband's sitting to the left of me, and there's trees on both sides of us, but it felt like we were on this like grassy kind of like path through these trees, and we're heading to the end, it felt like. And as we get closer, there's these men who looked like they were working the grounds, and they were there. They were waiting for us to show up. And as we pull up, my husband leans out to the left, and I'm leaning out to the right, and I'm looking down. And down, I'm looking at myself. It was my body. My eyes were closed, and I was as if I was buried, but I was unburied. So like to verify, they unburied me to verify my body. And I looked like me, like it wasn't like I was dead or anything. I looked like myself, like somehow they're preserving me. I don't know. But and all I did was I looked over kind of like this, and I said, oh, yeah, that's me. And I remember like everything just felt so normal. Everything was not weird. It was very normal, and I was very okay with everything going on, which very unlike me too. So I looked down and said, oh yeah, that's me. And my husband does the same to his. And we said, okay, well, we just need to go to the second verification, for your identification, verifying your identification. There's like another location we have to go to. And we're like, okay. So the golf cart kind of turns around, heads down this path again. And I look back behind me. And as I look back behind me, the men look as if they're walking over to where we were, and they were about to rebury our bodies. And before they were about to do that, I see them walking up. But before they're about to do that, I'm looking at my body in the ground, and my body had, well, my hands up, kind of like this, and my eyes were closed, and I was like praying in the spirit, praying in tongues, praying in the spirit. And this feeling that I felt was like a disgust, kind of annoyed with who that woman was, and that, in the ground there. I was like, ugh, and then I turned back around and they went and buried Bess back up. The second identification area that we went to, I don't remember much. It's kind of cloudy, so I wasn't sure if I wasn't supposed to remember. There are only like bits and pieces, and it's there was this I have like my own little row, and like in the ground, it's like on the ground, and there was these plants planted, and they were like spaced evenly apart, and I had about 8 or 10 of these plants, just green plants planted, and the last one was blooming, and it was with flowers at the end, and they were black. They looked like black pansies. At least that's what I remember them looking like. And I just remember thinking like, yes, this is mine. And I don't recall, but it was something along the lines of every time I visit this spot, something either is planted or rather something grows every time I visit it. And unfortunately, I don't remember if it was 10 or 8 or 10. I wasn't really counting, but that's how many it looked. I did look into what the color meant. So black pansies mean like kind of like a broken love. I don't know. And then we then head back to the main building, the school. And Drew and I were just ecstatic. We were proud for our children. We were so happy for them that they get to go to this amazing new school. And there was this hallway, blue. I just remember blue. There was this hallway, dark. It looked like a dark hallway, and they were going to go through this hallway with the workers, whoever was there. And they were going to go through this, and there was this knowing feeling of we were not allowed to go in there with them. And also this feeling of we were handing our children over to them. Like, I wasn't given the understanding of when we'll get them back. If this was a day thing, it definitely didn't feel like a day thing. It felt like we were handing them over, and we were so proud, so happy, so excited. And, we got our kids excited about it. And I remember, I know we're in the dream thinking, what are we doing? What are we doing handing our children over? Like, I was panicked. But yet me in the dream, I wasn't at all. And my little, almost 4-year-old girl was kind of like skipping happily, excited, because we were excited, and she was heading down. And then my 2-year-old was kind of on the floor and all four, crawling while pushing like this little toy car along as he crawls in. And then my daughter looks at him and points at him and says, "Mommy, he's lost his head." And I think inside me, my knower was like, oh, "What? Like, what does that mean?" And then, but I kneel down because he was crawling away from us. I kneel down from behind, and he sits up, and I see that he's lost his head. But it looks like a doll. Like if you were to remove a doll's head, you can just put it right back on. And I remember saying to her, oh, baby, that's okay. We can put it right back on. And I had this feeling, it's okay. And then I had this understanding of even myself felt fake. I felt so like a shell. I didn't feel like real. Felt fake, that fake feeling of kind of like how my son was not real, not who he truly is, fake. And this is a feeling I had as I left the dream. So more understanding was given to me since I had the dream, and the understanding of that me being buried was this feeling of, it was definitely government. It definitely felt like a government run place, and this feeling of I do not belong to myself anymore. And it was interesting because me knowing I would have never done anything like this, ever agreed to this. This is like terrifying to me, actually. But yet, somehow, they got me to give myself up. They have full control over me and had, like, in a way, brainwashed me to think that this was amazing and great and to be so happy and proud. I was, like, brainwashed. That's how it felt. Like, I was not myself. I felt trapped almost inside. But anyway, and that person in the ground not only was who I am truly and my relationship with God, like it was both. That I gave away, I gave up, I removed, I gave it over, and it's not me, and I rejected it. And it's still me in the sense of like they own me where I have identification, but they own me. I don't belong to myself anymore. And my children apparently didn't belong to us anymore either, but they brainwashed me to think that almost like I had allowed it, said, okay, like I handed over, but I was brainwashed to think that. But it was more of they really never belonged to me. They were not even my children as I handed them over. They never belonged to me. It was a very disturbing dream. Anyways, this is why I'm like, I title this series of like signs of the times, kind of like question mark. I think as believers, we have an understanding of what this kind of would mean, right? And for those who are unbelievers, we are heading, I mean, this doesn't sound, I think what's scary is that this doesn't sound unrealistic. It sounds like if we're not already there, if we already have given ourselves up to the world and unto our governments in that kind of sense, allowed to deny ourselves and who we truly are and just give everything to them as if they are savior or whatever. If that's not already now, it's definitely like they're going that direction. They're going to have as much control over you, if not all control over you at one point. Because if you don't take the mark of the beast, you know, you're not able to sell, trade, buy, like you're not able to travel, you won't be able to do anything. And they're already saying that regarding the VACCINE, that if you don't get it, you're not gonna be able to travel, you're not gonna be able to buy food, you're not gonna be able to do anything, you're not gonna be able to leave your house, unless you give yourselves up and allow them. And they're gonna make it sound like it's such a wonderful thing, which they have been already. But this what's scary is that it's like, oh, this actually sounds very realistic. I would never give my children over. I would never do that. Anyways, so that's my second dream. I'll have another one I'll be posting soon. You're welcome to, you know, if you have any understanding, if God's revealed anything to you that's like this too, I'd love to hear. But yeah, until next time, Shalom.